great, man.
Yep. You know, watching the Memphis game, you know, we've watched it as a team, as a whole, every play. Probably as a staff, we've watched it 2 or 3 times. You know, it was one of those games. I was watching Iowa State last night. Just kind of popped us for about 10 or 12 minutes. Our team was much better the last 28. We've really tried to learn from some of the things offensively. Turned the ball over too much. We settled in, played better. But since we've had a good week of practice. You know, it's always kind of juggling act a little bit with exams. But our guys, knock on wood, have all doing well academically. And, you know, and excited about playing. We played all those games, you know, a lot of games. And then six or seven of them, and then all of a sudden only 2 in 2 weeks. So it'd be good to get back in the rhythm of playing. And so we're playing a Valparaiso team that's got a really good big man center, Crikey, that's averaging about 20 a game. I think he's made the second most field goals of anybody in college basketball. 2 really good scoring wings. So, you know, this day and time, we've just got to be ready to play and to have a really good day of practice today.
You were talking about the 50-50 balls and the loose balls in that Memphis game. Did you feel like, did that have any more of a bigger emphasis into practice over the past couple weeks?
Yeah, you know, it did, no doubt. I mean, just we've never had a 50-50 ball count like that. You know, it's usually been the strength of our team. Not saying we've never gotten beaten 50-50 balls, but that's usually been a strength. You know, I mean, I think we're 3rd or 4th in college basketball in offensive rebounds percentage. You know, and so you have to do that by effort. And usually that equates to 50-50 balls. But Memphis, that first, you know, especially the first 12 or 15 minutes, just quicker to the punch, got to balls quicker. Our first shot defense was really good. Our second shot defense off of 50-50 balls, they got a bunch of offensive rebounds also. We got 19, they got 20, was really poor. So that's been a huge emphasis in practice.
Obviously, a slow start. Theo kind of said it after the game, kind of a theme, and y'all have had to play catch up a little bit. But they have been successful until Saturday. I mean, from your perspective, what have you kind of seen maybe those first 10 minutes in certain games?
I think offensively we've settled. You know, we're not getting we're just in all the analytics in the second half where we're getting more A-range shots right at the rim. I think we're settling more early in possessions, early in games. We got to play more north and south. It seems like transition offense, we're a little bit better in the second half, so we got to play more downhill, faster early parts of the game, and hope that'll show up tomorrow.
You talked about the unique challenge of having to kind of mix roughing in and live around, so to speak, and you tried that out on Saturday. Just through practice and from watching film, how have you kind of seen that approach?
Yeah, you know, he literally, when he played against Memphis, I mean, maybe one day, you know, a couple of days of some non-contact, so that's a pretty tough environment for not, you know, practicing very much at all. So we kind of threw him right in the fire. And the 14 minutes was about what we wanted him to play. Tomorrow he'll kind of be on a minute thing. We'll have to really talk about that today based on practice. We've had some good physical practices, and he's been a part of those. And so it's been good for him to have 3 or 4 days of practice, you know. And now he's got to kind of integrate himself into offense. You know, not every play is a home run play. You know, he's got to be able just to play and distribute it. He gets the spots on the floors pretty well. And then, you know, like we're playing him and Matt, him and Mo together, you know, some different lineups. So those are things that we've tried to really work with this week. We're not a finished product with that at all. And but Deshaun is making good progress.
Yes, his progress.
Good. He'll play definitely tomorrow night. He'll wear a mask. He had a little slight kind of fracture right here, and he was ruled out with a concussion. But yeah, he's practiced with the mask since Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So yeah, he'll definitely play tomorrow night.
You've seen kind of how James has maybe handled not playing up to kind of what you saw in the Bahamas this first month and a half or so.
Yeah, you know, I thought James, you know, he's had some of his better weeks of practice. You know, I thought he had some good moments in the Memphis game. You know, we've got as guards, we got to rebound better, all of our guards. But you know, James has got to get to the A range, you know, right to the rim at times. And but I see as him playing more physical, being better defensively. I mean, I'm not saying what he did in the Bahamas was great, but it's just it's totally different. You know, just where the games are loose, it's usually all the court spread. In these games, it's game plans and half court and all the different things. You know, so you've got to guard schematically. So all those things he's improving in.
You may have touched on it a second ago, but you were saying, you know, against Memphis, you know, if, you know, Mari and Ruffing, can be on the court kind of at the same time. You said that you would look at it. Is that going to take longer than a week to kind of figure out as you kind of get toward conference play?
It can sure happen tomorrow night. It can happen. I think Mo's got to get even more comfortable at the 2, and I think he can definitely play there. I think I've said it to our guys. If you get a lineup of Deshaun, Amari, and Matt, I mean, the toughness part of being able to rebound the ball in these high-level games, and like I said, Matt could be a really good rebounder. He hadn't rebounded at the level he needs to right now, so that's a big part of it. Tennessee comes to mind from last year. They played Kennedy Chandler and Ziegler and Vescovy, but the toughness part of those guys being able to rebound. So there's other things, but it sure does give us some fast guys in transition that can shoot and play make.
Talk about Robert and Josh just kind of having a rough go underneath Saturday.
Yep.
Is that something that they can kind of take the licks and learn from that, or is it just having to kind of mold their game to how they are?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, Robert took a couple good open shots, missed them, Then I thought he took some tough kind of what we call B-range shots, 7, 8, 9 foot jump hooks over length. Thought he made some really good plays to get some offensive rebound opportunities and didn't, finish them, but his effort was good. I thought Josh Mabala kind of settled in and played much better the last 7 or 8 minutes, and he's practiced that way.
Off kind of unique question, you weren't here, none of these players were here, but just the unique history of these two teams not playing since that highlight, just kind of your thoughts on kind of maybe resurrecting this year.
Yeah, in '98 I was an assistant at LSU, so I remember Keith's team well, Coach Evans' team well. They were, I don't have to tell the Rebel fans, that was one of the best teams I've ever competed against as an assistant or head coach. The team, just their toughness, their talent, and Rick Cleveland asked me, Kermit, I can't remember '98 if I watched it live, but I'm like you guys, I've watched it, every time the tournament's on. It's still one of the most fabulous plays to end an NCAA tournament game. And it's one of those things that, did they execute the play right? Yes, but even then it's a 1 in 1,000 play. I mean, just Keith's timing on the jump, his athletic, they put a guy on the ball, Buck, Flanagan's a really good defensive player, just kind of, snapped his head. The pass was just right over the outreach, hit it. He had just missed a shot. He made it, so it's just, but it was Valpo, everything had to go right, and it did, to beat a really good Ole Miss team. Because Keith and I were talking about it last night. The bracket had kind of fallen to where, nothing is given, but Ole Miss could have really been maybe a Final 8 or been a team play for the Final 4. But it really is. There'll never be another NCAA tournament that picture is not, is not shown some kind of video clips.
After these back-to-back game losses, just how crucial is this next kind of not even 3-week stretch before Tennessee?
Yeah, we've kind of called it our third season, and so especially with this 4-game home stretch, I think it's nothing's ever life or death in the regular season, except it gets to an out game. But I just think that, this 4-game season with Valpo, obviously a big game for us after a tough loss, and then, Central Florida, Temple, and North Alabama. So, yeah, these next 2 weeks before the Christmas break of how much progress that we can make daily, it's a big homestand for us.
Academics is something that you take a lot of pride in as a head coach with a lot of the teams that you've coached in the past. With the week kind of leading up to finals and then finals week, how do you feel like your team has kind of handled themselves just from a business approach? As a student athlete, having to balance, finishing strong and obviously competing on the basketball court.
Yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself, about just the exam week, and with our players. And obviously that's first and foremost, and we schedule everything around it. It's not as hard as it used to be because a lot of these exams are online. It used to be there was exams at night, exams in the afternoon, exams in the mornings, but now most of them are in the morning, so, we'll go around it. Like Matt's in an exam right now, and so he may miss the first 20 or 30 minutes of practice. It'll be kind of the last exam that anybody has taken. So, but our guys have done great. They really do. Expect one of the best fall semesters hopefully we've had academically. Our freshmen have done really, really well. And but it's an act it's a juggling act with it that everybody goes through it. But it is easier now from a time constraint than it was 15, 20 years ago before all the online classes.
You were talking about Amari trying to get comfortable with that 2 spot. Did he ever have to play into the 2 in high school, or is he just kind of a straight point guard and you can see that 2 in him?
He played combo. Most of the ball in his hands, but he's played combo. So that's the part of just playing the 2 but the whole thing is maybe running different actions at the 2 instead of the 1, in line of bounds, press offense. But as a point guard, you see all the action all the time. So usually those guys, have caught on. So he's got a good grasp of it. And he looks forward to playing with Deshaun, and I think that's something that, we've done in practice and we'll continue to do more.
Actually, never mind. He wasn't going to play. Never mind.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming.